This is Nina. I'm back. I know that I said I would use this video to introduce myself to you guys because the last video was more or less just letting you know that I will be posting and, you know, um, the goals that I had set for myself to start getting more acquainted with you guys and start to kind of grab you and snatch you along with me on my journey and my story and everything. Um, And this video, which is number two, I was supposed to do it yesterday, guys. I'm so sorry about that. It's just I'm pretty sure, because half of you probably are facing the same thing with the weather. So, um, I didn't get a chance to post because I was so busy trying to just make sure that me and the kids are safe and everything. Well, I wanted to make sure that I kept my promise and my commitment of recording at least 2 times a week, just starting out. And then eventually I'd like to try to, you know, catch vid a few times a week or maybe 4 to 5 times. Who knows? This video is supposed to be about me introducing myself to you and who I am and why I felt it was important for me to connect with you guys. My name is Nina. Like I said in the first video, I'm a single parent of 3 beautiful children. Um, and I am a survivor and an overcomer of domestic violence. And I made so many choices to stay in my marriage, in an unhealthy marriage and relationship, and it really affected myself and my kids. And God has been so good and so faithful and merciful to me to open up so many doors and bless me to be safe, to be free, to have a new chapter and a new start in life. And that journey began for me maybe 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit more, a little less. Um, a little bit about my situation. I was dating someone, and I really fell in love with the person who I thought they were. I really shouldn't have been in the relationship in the first place because um, he was married, and I was to believe that he was like this victimized person and he was just in this marriage with this witch of a woman, and he had just been so brutally abused mentally and emotionally, and here I am wanting someone to love me, being a repeat offender of abuse and uh, child molestation, all kinds of things in my life that I just felt like, oh my gosh, you know this is awesome. I want to be loved. And here it is. He's damaged goods and he wants to be loved. And what better way for us to work out and love each other, you know? And I really, really believe that. And in spite of my upbringing with my parents being in the church and me knowing that, you can't fish for good, bad and expect good to happen, but you just get so caught up in your mind of thinking that, oh, if we can just get on the right track, God could bless this. If we can just do this the right way, God can really bless this. And I made such a foolish decision. I shut out amazing friends. I lost contact with amazing people. I pushed people away because I was so embarrassed and so ashamed that everything I thought it was blew up in my face like I've never seen anything happen before. So I stayed in that relationship, ended up having a few kids, couple kids, and had a miscarriage. So it would have been like 3 kids or whatever. But um, then we were shacking. We were living together. For some people who don't know what shacking is, that's when you live with someone and you're not married. Um, and you're supposed to be married because God honors that. He doesn't bless mess. So I didn't want it. God was tugging on my heart, and I was changing. I stopped drinking and smoking and partying, and I started wanting to change because I was tired of how jacked up my life was. And unfortunately, we didn't want to make that change together. And so ended up being a lot of stress on his part, a lot of stress on my part, and I got the backlash of that stress through violence. And I ended up staying with him, and I had a son. At the time, I think he was 8, and it was a previous relationship, and that's my baby. That's my baby. Um, but I guess now thinking about it, I should have known that the quality traits and characteristic traits of this man, he couldn't possibly be a good role model or um, father for my son. But at the time, I just felt like, okay, if I can just mold and shape him, then things will be different. Fast forward, we got married, which that's a big no no. If you already have so much going on that's unhealthy, that's abusive, don't believe the hype that things will change. Don't believe the hype that things will get better. And I'm not saying that they can't. You do need to have counseling. There's so many things that need to take place on the foundation before you can build. You can't build a house and expect it to be sturdy and last with a cracked and a crusted and a decaying foundation. You just can't do it. And so a lot of that I endured and lived through, but it impacted my oldest son so much. Um, he saw me get dragged downstairs. He saw me be called all kinds of words and all kinds of violence. I was so busy trying to just get free from the situation, I did not think of the damage it did to him. And fast forward even more, I finally got up the courage to relocate to Columbia, South Carolina, and made the mistake of going back to that relationship because I was struggling with 3 kids. I didn't want to be stigmatized as, oh, she's loose booty all over the place. She got 3 kids, and I was in a new city, didn't have transportation. My church family was amazing, and they were helping me all that they knew how, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't working how I calculated it to work. And that's the funny thing about us as humans. We can calculate all we want, but unless things start to fall in place, your calculations are just basically false estimates. And I ended up going back into that unhealthy relationship, and it did even more damage. There was no abuse because my pastor put the fear of God in him, but it did hurt my son and his performance in school, and his behavior. A lot of times I was just so ashamed and embarrassed that here I am telling my child what to do, and here I am taking orders from a man in front of him. So I kind of just started being complacent even more. I was already a complacent mom because I was a young mom to begin with, and I didn't want nobody telling me how to raise my child. I felt like, okay, just because I'm young doesn't mean I don't know how to raise my kids. But see, people, one thing you have to understand is that God allowed people to go ahead of the journey so that you can learn what's valuable. Take away from it what you need and keep it moving. But see, I was so hard headed that I didn't understand that's what God was trying to bless me to do. And see, I don't want you guys to miss that opportunity as well. And so, although I had all those things happen and transpire, went into being homeless, living in a battered shelter, had to live out my van for some time just because I didn't want to call the police on him ever. Um, he went through a lot as a young person and as a man, and I think I kind of blamed myself and felt sorry for him. And so a lot of times, even when I know I should have not been an enabler by allowing the behavior to continue, I blamed myself so much because I felt like had I not gotten with him and he sought the help he needed, I wouldn't have been a hindrance. Had I not been partying and drinking with him, I can shut it off, he can't. It just was so many things going through my mind at the time. So I blamed myself for, pretty much it all. And so when I was homeless and when I had lived in a shelter, it gave me a chance to to really think about what I put my kids through. Yeah. And so I kept over the years trying to see, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I here to do? I speak several languages, but I wasn't a strong student, so that never seemed to just could never seem to get the certification. Does I do makeup? I love makeup artistry. Always, guys always open up doors for that, but it just didn't seem to flow. And I went to a workshop this weekend, and I kept already knowing that I wanted to do something. I wanted to help women and men because men are abused too. I don't know why people always make it so biased, but men are abused too, whether they're in a heterosexual relationship, a whatever it is, whether they're in a man and man relationship, a woman, even a child mom. I've seen young people abuse their parents. So abuse is just real and it's tangible and it's happening every day. And I don't understand why we make it like it's such a one sided way, even with racism. It's almost similar to that, and poverty, and so you can't just make this a biased thing. And so I wanted to work with people on putting together escape plans, escape routes, and, you know, um, so that there's no excuse to stay in an unhealthy environment. So many times I think about how many excuses I made, and I realized that I made so many excuses not to get out, so many excuses not to do better for myself and my son. And my son paid for it dearly. And you lose that time with your children. You lose that time with your family or your employees or performance that you could have had at work. You miss out on so many things because you're holding on to this toxic thing that you really need to let go of so that those healthy things can flourish and grow. Because it doesn't make sense. It's almost, for lack of better words, foolish, retarded, redundant, stupid, whatever it is, to hold on to something that's so toxic and unhealthy, to that's choking out something so beautiful and wonderful that can come about, whether it's your freedom, your sanity, the safety and well-being of your kids and family, being on time to work, being productive at work, being productive in life, whatever it is. And so I wanted to find a way that I can tap into helping other people. And so when I went to the workshop this past weekend, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I said, I have to start talking to people. I have to start communicating the importance of letting go, because we have programs like for WIC, we got Healthy Start, you got Head Start, all these programs to help women give their children the best possible care during pregnancy and even after. But what about the mom? What about the dad that's suffering from, loss of employment, or the mom that's suffering because she wants to get out of this healthy relationship, but she's stuck? She doesn't have good credit, she doesn't have good savings, she doesn't know where to turn to do better for her kids, to do better for herself. Because care, believe it or not, starts way before you're even pregnant. Care starts with you holistically being better, so that the love and the blessings can flow through you to others, starting with your family, because that's the most important thing. And so for me, I just wanted to find a way to tap into that. And I went to the workshop with Marshawn Evans. I wish I could go to Speak for Pay. I might try to still go if I can afford to, but even if not, I'm going to catch it the next time. I love that woman. And it made me realize that I have something to give. And so today I was reading Battlefield of the Mind, and guess what, guys? I'm in another relationship, and it's not really healthy. And I was reading The Battlefield of the Mind. I love this book. And I was realizing that I'm weird, I'm fidgety, guys. I'm sorry, it's weird desk. I'm trying to figure out how to make it work so that I don't lose sight of the camera. But I was realizing that I'm afraid. Once again, I'm afraid. And I didn't even realize that I was programming my mind to be fearful of letting go until I started reading today. And I was reading and I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. I'm afraid that I'm going to get beat down again if I leave this time. I'm afraid, and I know I'm laughing about it. It's no laughing matter, but it just made me realize that we are driven as people by fear so much. Whether it's afraid to move, afraid for a startup, afraid to try a new job, or afraid of giving God a chance, whatever the fear is, we are driven by fear and it keeps us in this stuck place. And so, giving my YouTube channel the name Get Right Nina made complete sense after today because it made me realize that this journey you guys are on with me. I set out to help and I'm also receiving this help. And so it gave me the courage to say, you know what? I don't want others to hurt and suffer like I did. I don't want my kids now. I have my two youngest kids. I've lost all that time with my oldest son, but at least I can give what I missed with him. I can try and do better this time. I can't allow fear to drive me to staying in a broken place, in a complacent place, in a comfortable place. So, um, I just wanted to reach out to you guys and tell you that I truly am doing this with you and that I truly am rooting for you and that I'm trying to get a website going so that I can reach out to you guys even that much more and so that I can have some resources to help you get out of the place that you're in to embrace a better place. And we're going to do it together. And I think that's the best way. Because sometimes I don't learn from people who have already achieved so much greatness that okay, they just know it all and you can't tell them nothing, but they can tell you everything. I can't stand that. I'm sorry. It's a pet peeve of mine. I just feel like if you're going to grow, you're going to grow. And there's nothing wrong with achieving greatness, but sometimes you need that holding my hand and doing it together as an incentive versus you've arrived and now you're looking down on me or I feel uncomfortable because sometimes that's what it is too. Sometimes we can have the most gentle people that have made it and they're helping us and they're a blessing to us, but we still feel uncomfortable. We still feel kind of like embarrassed and like I don't want to approach you because I feel like you are at a place that I have not attained yet. So yeah, this video was that to just reach out to let you know who I am, why I'm gonna be reaching out to you guys as much as I can. You never know, I might get addicted to this and reach out to you guys every day, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Oh my gosh, no! But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of my story and let you know where I am, and that this won't be me again. Okay, this time, this time will be different. I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot. I've experienced and felt a lot. And unfortunately, those things weren't always the best. But fortunately, I can grow and I can learn. I hope you guys enjoyed knowing more about me. I hope you guys can see that my heart is genuine to just share with you guys and you guys to share with me. Don't be holding back on information, okay? Don't do it because you could be helping me with something. Please don't just be nosy and just listen, but don't. I need your feedback in the comments, people. This is how we're going to grow together. This is what Get Right Nina is all about. It's about me being on this journey, but not being on it alone because you guys are facing struggles every day. Some of you right now can understand and can relate to what I just talked about. And some of you feel like you don't know how you get out of it, but you will. One, because with God all things are possible. Some of you might not even be Christians. I'm not trying to all force God down your throat, to each his own, but that's my faith, and I do have a right, regardless of what this country says or don't say, I do have a right to express how I feel about my faith. And I'm not trying to force it on you, but I know that with God, all things are possible. And two, I do believe that there's a divine plan for each of our lives. Whether you believe in whatever you believe, there is a divine plan that's working in this universe for our lives. And that there is something good that you were purpose designed to do. And there's nothing, no force that can keep you from attaining it as long as you're willing to cooperate and participate. And if you're willing to cooperate and participate, then the sky is the limit. Which is why I had to get this book, because let me tell you something, guys. Sometimes your mind be so all over the place. If you don't have something to just draw you back in, you be on the verge of crying, laughing, going postal, giving somebody a hug, kissing somebody. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, it can be that serious. But that's my video for today, because I did say I wouldn't go past 15 minutes. I'm already at 20 minutes and some seconds. I guess I'll be back to video with you guys maybe 2 or 3 days from now. Um, I hope you were blessed to hear about it and see that I made it, and you can do it too, and you will do it too. And however I can help, I'm here. I've learned so much, and I'm going to start loading those tips and just having some talk with you guys, just so you can know that it can happen. You just got to put some things in place, some safety precautions, some things so that you can get free. Thank you so much, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. Until next time. Toodles.